It is our great pleasure to be with you this morning. We have been to this church once before and loved it. Diane was our minister in Belmont before she went on to other things. We love her. She was very dear to us. And when she called and said she was going to be away and would we speak, we were happy to do so. This morning, Serge and I will speak on a topic pertinent to our lives and today's world. The topic is, as you know, living in difficult times, the quest for peace in a troubled world. Using a mix of prose and poetry, we will present our talk as a conversation in the tradition of Plato's dialogues as we examine issues that are components of peace and the achieving of peace in our lives. Before beginning this presentation, Serge will speak about an anecdote that I think relates to our talk. Now, I will go on by introducing this piece about educators who were in a workshop in the Middle East. And they were discussing visions and values related to peace. Suddenly they heard shots being fired from a checkpoint not far from their window. For one reason or another, a man had fled the checkpoint and had been shot dead. Another had escaped. Crowds were gathering, sirens were blaring, ambulances and military vehicles were appearing. They wondered what had really happened. Had anyone else been hurt? Who had escaped? Would now all the buildings be searched? Would more people be questioned or taken into custody? There are feelings of fear and frustration and anger and anguish. And the members in the group, the educators, asked themselves, what should we do now? Should we postpone this discussion for another day? Should we leave the workshop to find out what is going on? There was confusion. And suddenly someone got up, went to the window, pointed to outside and said, out there is where the world is. Inside here is how we want the world to be. This is more important. Let us complete the workshop. We must continue. The members sat down and the meeting went on to discuss the strategies for peace. To walk this path with the spirit of peace is not an easy way, for it commits us to daily acts of difficult choices. It means questioning our leaders, our institutions, and our assumptions about how we live in community and in our world.
We want you to think about the significance of this tale in our quest for peace, personal and communal. Peace can be defined in different ways. Sometimes dominant forces place a lead on unstable societies, stifling protest in these societies, prevent change, and they call it peace. Others define peace as the absence of war and the cessation of violent hostilities. To my mind, this kind of peace is but a shadow image. This kind of peace is but the preliminary step or movement toward a more dynamic and comprehensive achievement.
True peace in society and in ourselves involves important elements such as positive choices that produce personal and social harmony, the pursuit of the good for the benefit of all, not only the privileged few, integrity, the courage for love instead of fear, and respect for the unity and the oneness of life on the planet.
Well, you speak of unity of the oneness, but we live in difficult times. We live in times that challenge us and test us.
Yes.
All I see is division. We live in time that asks, can we stay the course? Can we grow to the next level? Can we walk the sacred way? How do we hold our center, hold our balance, and remember who we are? How do we manage the issues that confront us? How do we live our highest and best lives? How do we respond to all of this that's taking place around us? There is no unity.
True, true. We face a depth of confusion that rattles and unsettles us. We have no control over events, but we can control how we respond to them. We do not control what happens in our lives, but we do control how we interpret, understand, and react to happenings and events. Remember, we are not tossed about by the winds of fate. Our lives are not adrift, empty, and meaningless. We are spirits encased in a bubble of flesh to discover our common humanity. We are spiritual beings on a human journey, a journey that will involve growing and becoming, a journey that will take from us every ounce of strength and stamina if we are to grow and overcome and be what we can be.
But look around you. What can we be? What can we do? We feel overwhelmed. Sometimes we feel that there is no clear direction, no path, no guidance. We feel vulnerable, for the world feels unsafe. How do we deal with these events, public and personal, that are thrust upon us?
First, we must have courage. We must act from our deepest understanding. We must hone our skill to discern truth from falsehoods. We are born for these times. This is where we spread our wings and fly. For it is in these times that we need to stand in spirit, hold our inner alignment, and live in integrity. We must become clear about who we are, what we are, and what we know. We must become clear about the values we espouse and the choices we make. We must take responsibility for the actions that we take.
But so many choices.
Yes, yes. And these choices are important. For it is in our choices that we make our beliefs manifest. It is in our choices that we show who we are. Our choices are the fabrics of our lives.
Indeed, choices are important. For the path is not clear, and so much around us is confusing. We must move forward with confidence. But how do we avoid the pitfalls? Where is the discernment that will allow us to follow the thread of truth?
Yeah, good question. We must trust in a power greater than our own. We must reconnect more fully with the source of all things, the great being that created all things. We must affirm the God Spirit present in the world. We must stand in our integrity. We must trust our deeper and wiser selves. We must recognize the ring of truth. We must not allow ourselves to be deceived. The world is a school in which we grow and learn about ourselves and test our beliefs and values.
Yes, this is true. We must remember that we live in the world but are not of it. We make choices based on our highest values, values that support life and does not destroy it, values that build on love and not on hatred, values that call out our highest and best selves.
I have a poem that I think speaks to this. We are living in a time of great change, great change. This is the time of turmoil, but also of revelation. As the old structures fall and the darkness that was on the land lifts, great awakenings as if from a deep sleep. Lift the covers from your eyes. Do not be afraid. The new is come. The old passes. Let in the light the glory of the new age. The old forces tried to block the future, but they cannot. Their time is past and gone, done. The lessons have been learned by those who would. The armies now skirmish. They but skirmish as they desert the field.
The world is a journey that shows us different paths. The world challenges us and tests us. To navigate this world demands courage.
Fearless in the face of difficulty, we set our sails, allowing them to billow in the winds, hearing the cawing of the seabirds, see the waves dash against the shore, see the light and shadow of the sun's rays upon the land, feel the chill in the crisp air, and know that there never was a time when you were not loved, treasured, and guided. For us to see the light, the dark must exist. How do we find the path if there is no chance of being lost? How can we find joy if there is no pain or grief? How can we triumph if there's no turmoil or strain?
Yes, this life is built on dualities, and as the struggles become more intense, so much stronger will be the charge for us to hold the light higher and to choose the higher path.
Look, I'm only one person. How effective can I be? I have no influence. Life is dangerous. Life is treacherous. We're surrounded by meaningless violence, unremitting hatreds, manipulations on many levels, skillful and devious. We allow others to think for us. We allow others to persuade us that we do not see the things we see. We accept the sound bites, the slogans, and accept mass-produced ideas. We seem to be caught in a dark spiral of cruel and meaningless actions that seem to trap us and drive us into fear, seeking to make us forget who we are and what we value. Life can be fearful.
But do not choose fear. We never choose fear. We do not give in to easy answers. We rise above these easy and manipulative dichotomies, we become vigilant. We listen and we hear with our head and with our hearts. We must be fearless and we must examine what we are creating.
Yes. For the choice is really between love and fear. It is from this root belief that all actions spring. Love does not mean weakness. It means the strength to stand in our integrity, to call it as we see it, and to be true to our values. To fearlessly walk the path. For only the inwardly strong can hold the peace. Only the steady of purpose can fall and rise again. Only the compassionate can forgive themselves and others. Be fearless. Choose love.
We must choose love. Because in the end, love is all there is. There can be no peace without love. Love is foundational. Prime creator is love, and all else is false.
True.
And misleading. When we choose love, we are reflecting the God Spirit. Love heals, supports, and strengthens. Love connects with the whole. Love affirms life. Love brings peace.
True. If we believe in love, we do not glamorize violence. We do not succumb to its solicitations. Violence is described, quote, as a learned response to the frustration of our basic human needs for love, acknowledgement, safety, security, for being, and for growth. Violence flourishes in those times when we are stuck in the midst of separation, without remembering our inherent connection with the wholeness. When we, who are a drop of water, we imagine that we are separated from the whole, and that is not the case. We are a part of. We are not separate. We are not alone. We need not be afraid.
We do not go into depression or self-pity either. This robs us of our power, making us feeble and powerless. We do not give away our rights to others in the name of protection and safety. We take responsibility for our response. We work to strengthen community and our environment. We have the power to set up a resonance for peace and hold a higher vision. What we do counts.
To achieve the peace, we must begin to know ourselves, accept who we are, and act from the highest level of our understanding. Then we can radiate this peace out into the world. For we are the mainstay of the mast, the rudder of the ship, the prow that never lists, the billowing wind and currents on the light dappled sea, the dark seamless night, the richness of experience, the flow of spirit forward, the richness of the whole. Our gains are shared by all, because we are all. We are all.
We are all. What does it mean?
Listen, it means many things. It means that we are one light in the prison that is humanity. It means we belong to each other, as Mother Teresa said. The thought of belonging to each other posits the unity of all creation. Rising from the same source, we are inevitably connected to each other. Carrying the same sacred essence, we are inevitably linked to the same single web of life. It's logical. So then, living in difficult times, challenging though they are, provides opportunity for growth, opportunity to shift our thinking about the world and ourselves. Living in these times can make us powerful, assertive, and clearly focused.
Yes, yes. Living in difficult times does offer opportunities for profound growth and understanding. The bird learning to fly takes off against a strong current of air.
True.
Swimmers strengthening their stroke move against the currents of the sea. We can help people to awaken, take charge of their own thoughts, their actions, and their lives. We can shift our thinkings about the world. We can accept the challenge.
And what is the challenge? We are being asked to live our highest and best lives. We are being asked to turn inward, to find the peace and hold it. We are being asked to live what we know. You may ask, how do we find this peace? We find the peace when we take time to be quiet, to listen, and to settle into the great silence.
Is it possible to find such space and place in this busy world?
We must find it, for this is where our strength lies. We must find it, for this is our way home. Inner peace is essentially a state of spiritual connection with the divine. If this connection is broken or overlaid by anger, resentment, malice, or fear, the circuit will be interrupted and will need repair. Sitting alone quietly, allowing ourselves to rest physically, emotionally, and mentally will give one a clearer sense of self. Reflective time is a source of revitalization.
Well, this is all well and good. But what about the continuing divisions and the conflicting circumstances that bombard us? The diversions, the meaningless violence, the cruelties, the might make rights philosophy that sap the spirit and blur our vision. What should we do when the pain seems too much to bear? When the sheer repetition of these actions tear the fabric of society, cost so many their lives, and threaten our own? How should we handle this? What should be our response?
Well, first, we reconnect with the divine light. We make peace with ourselves. We make peace with ourselves. We accept ourselves as we are. All parts of ourselves, the parts we like, the parts we do not like, our strength, our weaknesses, our inadequacies. And it's important because then you have nothing to defend. You can be yourself. Then and only then will we be able to look with compassion on others. It is only when we accept ourselves that we can accept others. Then we can think and act from the best that we know, because we're not defensive. We are as we are. We're more open.
But which direction should we take now? So much hangs in the balance. We seem to be at a turning point where one direction leads to apathy and a refusal to become engaged in our own lives, our community, and the world. The other leads to the possibility of endless attacks, security checkpoints, scarcity, and aggression.
Yet, there is another path to this quest. This path leads to the building of our inner resolve. our strengths, our connection to speaking truth to power, to building a better world piece by piece, one step at a time, in the knowledge that with courage and faith we can carry a light in this world, centered and strong, holding to the great truths that have echoed down the ages.
Right. A centered inner peace is central to our spiritual, physical, and emotional well-being. To find and hold that peace, we need to show courage and to make wise decisions. We need to be in alignment with those principles that honor life on our planet, those beliefs that emphasize the power of love, and the ultimate oneness and unity in action.
May we choose to walk in peace, in integrity, and in the awareness of the oneness, and in understanding of the inner power we carry to shape our lives, our surroundings, and our world. May we accept ourselves as we are, and by loving ourselves, extend that love to others. Be at peace with who we are, accepting who we are, holding that peace, no matter what. Life is rich. Life can be fulfilling. Life is challenging. In our quest, may we find and set the inner compass with to navigate these times. May we find the courage for peace.
So let it be.
And so it is.